Hello everyone, and welcome back to Chapter Master, where I'm carrying on with my little chaos idea, but rather than a playthrough, this is more of a pitch. So, there Duke, I just want to pitch an idea or a few ideas to you. I know you're overworked probably as it is, but I want to pitch a few things here. First off, I suppose the general pitch is, I want to pitch a sub-version of this game called, you'll come up with a better name than this, but my idea, it's Chapter Master Warbands. And the idea is, you are a Chaos Warband, and it's your job to go around the Imperium, basically the same as this, okay? Except, you play off as a Chaos Warband. Now maybe you can start off, say, one corner of the map is the Eye of Terror, the rest of it's Imperial Space, or the Maelstrom Imperial Space, whatever version you want to go for. And basically it's your job to be a Chaos Warband and basically cause as much carnage in, the Materium as possible, please the Chaos Gods, do what you will. Now instead of diplomacy, right, what you should do is, that should be replaced with Imperium, that should be the same, but replace Heretics with the Imperium. But here you should have maybe War Master. Abaddon occasionally sends you on, forces you to go on Black Crusades, and you can choose to join him or denounce him or tell him to eat a shit dick and, ignore him, and he can send Warband, Black Legion after you. You could have Dark Mechanicus here. You could have the Chaos Gods here. You could maybe side with a particular Chaos God. Then you could, doesnt would give you, objectives, go to this planet and assassinate this person or whatever. You could have, maybe Legion or Traitor, just like Traitor Imperial Army, Imperial Guard, maybe as another sub-faction. So that it'll be, and you'd also, instead of, here, you'd have other Traitor Warbands, Loyalist Space Marine chapters, Loyalist Imperial Guard forces around, and it would be a lot more about, we'll go back to it, maybe a lot more about exploration. Like, you cannot recruit, maybe you just start with a gene seed, but you can't make any more. You've actually got to, do research to make more. Requisition, it's not given to you. Astartes is the same, it's not, you have to, you can start off with a lot less of them, so it's actually about boosting your numbers. Do you do a lot of recruitment and steal people from planets, or do you run around and do stuff? Requisition, I would reckon, let's go over to this planet here. Let's say attack would be attack the planet, as normal. Purge would be, basically that's it. Purge, instead of purging heresy though, you purge everyone. That's just basically fuck the innocent civilian button and murder everyone. And raid. Raid, I reckon, would be like a lightning fast raid, which gives you weapons, supplies, and requisition. Like, it does no damage to, or very little damage to the population or to the defenses, but it's all about getting yourselves extra requisition that you can trade with the Dark Mechanicum to get new weapons and equipment. Maybe you can, give requisition to Abaddon in place of having to go on a Black Crusade for him. There's a lot of different potential you could have with just this simple mode. Now, it would be a bit of work, but basically, I reckon you already have the groundwork right here. Replace that to Traitor. Get rid of that. Make that minus 9 billion. And, rethink some of that. Like, instead of the Librarian, you'd have Sorcerers that would communicate with the Chaos Gods. You could get Chaotic Artifacts, which might possess your commander. He might give him Blessings of Khorne or Blessings of Slanesh if you're into that. Reclusium, you dump that completely. You don't need it. Or you could actually keep the Reclusium, but have it a Chaos. Have that the Chaos thing, and that just based on Sorcerum. Armoratorium, you could have that, Warp Smiths. You could build Chaos, in vehicles. You could build, like, Chaos devices and stuff. Ships. Now, that would be difficult because I don't think the Traitor Warbands actually have the ability to manufacture their own ships, even in the Eye of Terror. So you could actually go out and steal ships, which I think would be another mechanic. Say you attack this defense fleet here, which, fuck it, may as well. you attack this defense fleet. Okay. Right. Let's just attack it. Attack! Engage, right? You could have your escorts or your strike cruisers, you could actually board them. And if you boarded the ship, it would just basically the same, you know, 100%, 90, 99%. But maybe it would be, instead of the blue numbers, it would be like red or something. You could board the ship and there would be a chance you could take it for your own warband. And I reckon that would be a great idea. It would be like the only way you could replenish your ships is to launch, you know, steal other ships. So you'd have to pick on isolated Imperial Navy patrols and try and take, you know, maybe try and take a couple of strike cruisers here and there before you're able to actually steal Imperial or even Space Marine ships for your own use. I reckon there's a lot of different potential you could do just in space combat alone. Also, incidentally, my Night Lords are getting the shit kicked out of them. I know the Night Lords are not the best when it comes to fair fights, but man, these guys suck. Carrying on. So, Mr. Duke, this is my idea. Now, once you get Chapter Master working and running, I would highly recommend that you give this a go, because, I mean, Space Marine and Loyalist is awesome, and I love, you know, Loyalists and things like that, but I reckon that a version of this as a Chaos Warband would just be great. Blah, 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 fuck you Imperium. Recruiting rights revoked. I don't care. We are traitors. Ave Dominus Nox and all that crap. Anyway, carrying on. Apothecarium. You know how your gene seed mutates? You could have, like, test slave incubators. You could use the Honsu method. You know, that old fucked up bastard. You could maybe do, instead of, you could have test slaves in that regard. You could go for the Honsu method. You could go for a standard recruiting method. Maybe you could, that's another thing you could encounter, you know, renegade warbands around, or even just, you could have a mechanic where every so often, maybe if you defeat a few Loyalist Space Marine chapters in battle, some of their men defect to you, and that would give you a good recruiting base. There's a lot of different ideas you could do with it, like your gene seed also, if you spend a lot of time in the warp part of the map, maybe like the top corner of the map is, you know, entirely in the warp, then you would suffer like loss of gene seed, you know, mutations, third arms, people turning into spawns, things like that. I reckon that would be a really, really good idea for just the tiny little mechanics you could do here and there. And I think really the main pitch is this, but with chaos, really. And I reckon that is actually very, very possible to do. So I'd like to see what would happen with it. Oh! And I broke the game again, because once more, good sir, your game isn't designed for me to deliberately go traitor. So, Mr. Duke, I'm proposing to you, here and now, that you make Chapter Master Warband, not now, I'm not going to pressure you, but maybe it'll be a good idea to do after you get Chapter Master right. I reckon that would be a great game. Like, to go on par with this game, you would have the Chapter Master for the Loyalists, you'd have Warband for the Chaos people, fuck all the other Xenos guys, we don't really care about them, and it would be just a lot of fun to play as. So, this is my idea, this is my pitch to you. I leave it up to the hands of TG, the internet, and you there, Duke. So, until then, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you like this pitch idea. I reckon it has potential. If you reckon it has potential, or you reckon it should have some certain features here and there, let me know in the comments below, and I will see you all again another time.